Hello and welcome to Bakerstreet.coasters live, where today I have some really inside information. I'm dying. I have inside information about Cadbury World and what they are planning to do in the future for this attraction. Now, starting off with what Cadbury World is a Birmingham attraction, one of the biggest attractions in Birmingham, and it features chocolate, the branded chocolate Cadbury, the biggest chocolate group, biggest chocolate company in the UK, probably in the world. Now, Cadbury World itself is not run by Cadbury anymore. It is run by Merlin Entertainment, and it also has licensing with Mondelez, because Cadbury is owned by Mondelez, who owns the sweets such as Sour Patch Kids, not Jelly Babies, they could be. What do they call those? I don't know. Anyways, so yes, there are multitudes of different sweet companies, different sweet options, different chocolates, which are owned by Mondelez. But the attraction itself, Cadbury World, we are most focusing on Cadbury World, is owned by Merlin. Now, I was speaking to a guy in Cadbury upstairs, and he told me some inclusive information about the Cadbury World attraction. Now, firstly, there was a hint towards an attraction. Well, there was a hint towards it being a resort. Now, I think this would be quite cool, you know, Cadbury World Resort. Like, we've had stuff like Alton Towers with their Cadbury rooms in the Alton Towers Hotel. So it would be really cool to see a resort, but that is for more of the far-fetched future. Focusing on now though, Cadbury World is a really limited, small attraction, and at the moment it's nothing in how it used to be. It used to be huge rooms full of chocolate. It used to be the Cadbury ride. There used to be the place where you stamp up and down. You used to have the gorilla. Now all this stuff has been removed in place for its new ride, which is the Cadbury's Quest, or Cadbury's Magical Quest. And I don't think this ride is very good, and I have gone through this multiple times in a different video. Now, apart from that, there has got to be something wrong with this queue line, because this queue line, I'm telling you now, is not even a proper queue line for this new ride. Because you go in there, and first thing you see is like these taped out little queue lines, and I'm there just like, this isn't a permanent queue line at all. And the worst thing is when you're halfway through the queue and you find out about these chocolate makers, or the chocolate makers are trying to put stuff from the back of the Cadbury World to the shop. It's trying to get through the queue, and they have to take out the latches to then go through. Now, Cadbury itself is not very benefited for the area it's in. Cadbury World is just a chocolate tour. However, you haven't actually got that privilege to go through the chocolate tour anymore, because there's no VIP. But talking about this queue, it's very it's not built to have an attraction indoors, and that's what I think, and that's why the guys think Merlin is coming along and putting in a permanent queue, and that's why I asked. Now, I did ask this one guy who was in the queue, and he said a permanent queue is very, very beneficial, and he said that Merlin are on the verge of putting in a permanent queue for this new attraction, because I think for the Cadbury's Quest, it just takes away the theming of everything. I don't like the queue they have now, and it's not very spacious, it's not very accessible for everyone. It's just those queues which are like really thin, and you know, it's just not good when workers are trying to get through the queue to get to the other side. It's just not good. So having an accessible queue line will be very, very beneficial to see. And I'm pretty sure they said that they're going to have a queue line where the gates will open and close when when the workers are trying to get through. So I think that again is really, really good to see. Now, with this in mind, we could also see this being a queue as such like the Legoland one, where they had the air gates there, so it stops people from going past when the train is coming around. So that would be pretty cool to see. If it's automated, even better. But you know, it's far-fetched into the future, and we're not sure what will happen with this queue line. At the moment, we are stuck with a really inaccessible queue, not very beneficial, and it really does wreck advertising avenue. Now, another thing with this ride, like I said earlier, replaced the gorilla and the DJ part. Now, the gorilla is hinted to come back, and the gorilla is going to be hinted to come back somewhere else. I'm not quite sure where he's going to come back, but he will come back because it's such a huge thing to Cadbury, and the fact that they got rid of it is not a very beneficial thing. You think gorilla, you think of a gorilla on the drums, you think of Cadbury straight away with the I can feel it coming in the air. Anyways, so yeah, that is a really good thing to hear, because you know, having a gorilla used to be the staple thing of the whole entire attraction. Everyone used to love the gorilla, and then they got rid of it for a ride which was like 90 seconds long, and I'm there just like, that's not very beneficial, is it? Even though the ride now is really, it's much, the time on it is really low. You've got the Cadbury World upstairs, which is so much better, and they've just, like, you know, stripped that out for pieces. So they're just like, really, that's not very beneficial. If they both kept two parts of the ride, if they kept the Cadbury ride and the Magical Quest, it would really benefit for the chance of, oh, if one goes down, then the other one doesn't. Because the time we did go to Cadbury World, the ride did break down when I was with the beavers, and that's not good, because it's like you're waiting there for ages, and that's like the next part of the attraction to get to the other side. Or you can just go straight through, but I'm there just like, people are there to witness the ride itself. They're not there to really look at the chocolate, even though there are other benefits of it, like how they make the chocolate. That is pretty unique to see, but at the same time, you don't tend to get that that factory tour anymore because of licensing issues. Now that's another thing I'm going to go into. Mondelez owns Cadbury, and that means that Merlin can't do much with this resort without having Mondelez's thing. And that really doesn't work when they want to make Cadbury a literally a huge walkthrough experience where you are forced to go through the whole attraction itself, even the do-it-yourself station. Because the do-it-yourself station and the Born View experience is downstairs, but you've got to go outside the attraction to go downstairs to then find out that there is the 4D experience. Now, this is a separate part at the moment, and you can do this before you can go into the attraction itself, but I think myself that I don't think it's very beneficial at all, because at the moment, in how it is, I've seen many people. I was actually standing outside the exit when I finished the Cadbury shop. I was standing outside the exit waiting for the beavers, and I saw people just come out of the resort, not going to the look for where the 4D cinema is, couldn't find the 4D cinema, and then they left. And I'm there just like, that's not very good. And then they get complaints, and I did get told by the guy, they do get complaints later on saying that they couldn't find the 4D attraction and their tickets was wasted. Now, having a full-fledged attraction like the one in Madame Tussauds, and I've mentioned this, one of Madame Tussauds in London, they literally force you to go on all the ride stuff. They guide you that way instead of you looking for it and going outside the attraction. It also make the ride a lot more higher in, well, it also make the attraction a lot more higher in capacity. I mean, you can get people through the resort, you can get a lot more people through the resort. It means you don't have to scavenge around for booking tickets, because that's another thing Merlin really don't like, is the fact that Cadbury World has got really limited amount of seats because of the amount of capacity they can have. And then where you got like where the end bit leads onto the do-it-yourself station, that would be quite cool to see, because it goes from where the chocolate tasting is to then down to the do-it-yourself station, then back up through the, let's say it goes back up through the from the 4D cinema to the ride. It would be really cool. Advertising Avenue, that would be amazing to see, because it just takes people through that whole entire tour. And the thing of breaking down bricks and walls for that. But yet again, there's issues with the bricks and walls, because within those bricks and walls you've got chocolate, you've got different water supplies which they don't know about, so that's where Mondelez needs to do the approving for the licensing and stuff like that. So that's really unbeneficial. Now, another thing which I think is really good is the fact that there is an IP to this attraction. Merlin don't like IPs. Merlin like IPs actually. We've had Imperial Leather in the past. We've had stuff like Jumanji. We've now got Cadbury, and Cadbury is such a huge thing. They don't want to lose Cadbury, their IP at all, to the attraction. Because what would it be without Cadbury World? And the fact that you can get discounted chocolate, oh, any day, please, any day. But having the IP of Cadbury really does bring a name to the Merlin experience. Yet again, they do over-advertise what else you can do in the area. I won't go to Warwick Castle and do Cadbury World in one day, I'm not quite sure how that ticket works out, but they do a ticket where you can go to Sealer Centre, Birmingham, Legoland Discovery, Cadbury World, and Warwick Castle. But I'm not quite sure if that's over one day, because there's no way I'm doing them all 4 over one day. But, you know, I'm not quite sure how it works, but they do over-advertise the stuff. We also have some false advertising, and I've said this before. In the TVs, as you walk into where to the queue to get into the attraction itself, you've got TVs which are showing what you can do in Cadbury World, but on there, just like that's this old advertisement, because you haven't got that one where you stamp up and down in the feet, the mirror floor place. You haven't got that anymore. Now, the small little cube which is in the Bourneville experience, which is full of mirrors. Now, I was correct in what I said. People didn't believe that it would have been a projectile thing, or but yes, it is going to be a projectile thing, and it should projectile down onto the floor, and it should be interactive. Basically, it's something like the one at Weymouth Adventure Park, where basically you walk through this night bit and you can see your own footprints on this floor. Basically, it'll be pretty cool. It's going to be like that with cream eggs, and just stamp on the cream eggs, and you know, it'll be really, really cool to see. But yet again, that's all down to licensing. What you can do on the floor, I'm not quite sure. It's quite a small space. Actually, it's quite a big space, I can't lie. But it's very, very cool to see they've done up all the Bourneville experience, and I can't wait to see what else they do for the attraction itself. Like I said, the gorilla's coming back, not quite sure where. I loved the whole entire experience of Cadbury World, apart from the ride. I mean, the ride's just a facade, which is just awful. Like, I don't like the ride at all, and many people, and I've said this before, the facade of the ride, the whole queue of the ride is just atrocious. And if they do put in a permanent queue, it will boost the appearance of the ride, but yet again, the time length of the ride is just really, really small. It's not an omni-mover. It would have been an omni-mover. It's heavily screen-based, which I think is really, really, it does put a decreased thing. The guns don't always work, and I've experienced this twice now. Guns don't work both ways. Sorry. And yeah, that's basically it for me. I'm very sorry, I'm really ill too. Anyways, tell me your thoughts on Cadbury World down below. Please remember to subscribe and smile always. I'm also off my tablet, so I'm not making sense of what I'm saying at the moment. I'm very, very sorry about that. But anyways, smile always, guys. Did I miss out anything? Oh, and in the do-it-yourself station, of course, the do-it-yourself station has this chocolate mixing machine, which used to be upstairs in the do-it-yourself station itself. Now this chocolate machine isn't working, and the team has asked what's been going on. There are 2 more things I have to add to actually. So they are still missing a part, but it has been a little bit redone. They're waiting for the chocolate to run down. But when that happens, it'll be very, very cool to see. Now, they're also worried about the queue line with the do-it-yourself station, because they don't think it's very beneficial at the moment, because you haven't got the capacity of people coming in and enjoying that queue line. Now, I can see why they put the queue line in, because when they put in a full passageway which leads down, and it makes the people go from one place of the attraction to the Bourneville experience to then do this thing, there will be a queue, but it also means there's a higher throughput, there will be a higher capacity you can fit in the attraction, but it also means you can admire the attraction a little bit more, which I think is really, really cool to see. Now, if that is the case though, how much people you can fit in there, I'm not quite sure, and will the queue be able to fit that amount of people? Yet again, the queue is quite big, but I'm not sure if it can, with the fact that the queue for the ride at the moment is very, very high. But that may be due to the amount of people going from one, literally zooming from the chocolate, do-it-yourself chocolate thing to all the way down to the other side. So I'm not quite sure, but the ride really does slow down the attraction and the time of you being in there. It increases the time of you being in there, which again is a good thing, but it's not very good when you have to wait for this attraction. I'm pretty sure that's what Merlin liked doing, because I've never had to wait more than 10 minutes for Cadabra in the old ride, so I'm not quite sure what Merlin has done wrong there. Probably the different ride stuff, ride experience, but apart from that, you know. Now, two more things. Firstly, VIP events. Now, there used to be VIP events pre-COVID. and then they got rid of it, and I'm not quite sure what's happening with that. Now I do know what's happening with it. Basically, the team have asked themselves to, well, they have asked themselves. No, they've asked Merlin about what's happening with VIP events, for doing your own chocolate, making your own chocolate, exclusive events around the factory tours. I'm pretty sure, and that's what they said, I'm pretty sure it's going to come back sometime soon when the attraction is fitted and sorted properly. But in the meantime, they're still doing construction works. And then the last thing is, in the ride itself, one side where you've got the molds, the chocolate molds, where the running, flowing river is at the end, near the end. One side is working, where it goes, oh, now to see how many collection of bottles of milk you've got. When you do the collection of what your results are, one side of the mold is working, and then when you get to the other side, it's just not working, and it's just not dripping properly. So I don't understand that, but it's probably a part issue. Not quite sure. Like I said, I don't like the ride. Very heavily screen based. I've said this already, and the guns just need to work. There were guns at the front of me who had vibrating guns, and then my ones just weren't vibrating. I got really less because the guns weren't just working. The ride also has I don't know, but the ride did break down once. I've never experienced it broken down, so I don't know if that happens quite a lot frequently. But like I said, I've only at Cadbury World for quite some time, so Anyways, I'm gonna go now. Please remember to subscribe and smile always. Tell me your thoughts of Cadbury World down in the comments. Bye, guys.